Good morning. Look at that beautiful sun up there. Woohoo! It's actually going to be quite a nice day today. Maybe a little too nice. If the clouds go away, it could be a hot one. But 71 with no clouds can be very hot. So far, the trail has been quite nice. I went through a large meadow with a bunch of wildflowers. My phone was turned off, and I was like, eh. But I'm on like a very wide dirt road, and before I was on a very narrow tightrope of a trail, so I wasn't willing to pull the phone out just yet. So last night, as you know, I stayed at that shelter. No, a hostel. It was really great. So I told you all the perks yesterday. The owners, I guess they've only had it a year and a half, so this is their second hiker season. You know, the accommodations are what the accommodations are. I mean, what does $35 buy you for accommodations these days, right? Everything I could want or need. Shower with, soap, shampoo, conditioner, towels, face towel, or hand cloth, whatever. Laundry, soap provided. I got to back flush my filter. I got with, running water from a sink and, flushable toilets. And you know what's so great about staying at a hostel once in a while? I don't have to hang a bear bag. I don't have to pitch a tent or set up camp. I don't have to cook my food on a picnic table where it may or may not be super windy out. And then there's no setup or tear down. I can fill my water bottles from a tap and not have to filter them in the morning. So even though sometimes when you stay at a hostel, you get just a bit later start, because in this case, we stayed to have breakfast that they prepared, which was phenomenal for $8. Again, I did not stay at the 13 years voted best breakfast, but it was wonderful. Everything I needed. It was thick bacon, lots of pieces, bunch of scrambled eggs. They would have given me biscuits and gravy, though I didn't want it, but they had scones and muffins and extra scones that I took in a little baggie, which are now probably scone crumbs, but hey, they fuel the same. They fill the tummy the same way, so it's all good. And I was back on the trail by 8:45. So, and free coffee. So I took perfect advantage of that. So it gets you, you know what? I started at 8:45 yesterday. So what am I talking about? All these things I did not need to do last night, and I got a decent start. Sometimes it is later. It depends, what you got going on. But I washed my face twice. It's great. Slept great. I mean, gee whiz, there's something about four walls and a bed that allows you a really good night's sleep. But a lot of familiar faces. I think I neglected to mention that yesterday, that, we got there and the folks who were already at the hostel were, folks I've seen before. So I'm clearly in a group of people that are hiking at least the same distances, if not the same pace. Like, it's okay. I don't know if you can see that. I need two hands. Gotta that means the pole goes onto see, this kind of thing. But there's purple ones and white ones and big ones and little ones, but all over the trail. It's just absolutely gorgeous, but 'tis that time of year too, right? So I don't know. All right, so as I was saying, the familiar faces, they may not always be hiking the same pace as me throughout the day, but it's fun when we all land at the same spot. And people don't always land at the same spot. They have reasons for either pushing on further or hanging back. Some folks I met, I was seeing them night after night after night, and they had to hold back in Roan Mountain because they were expecting a postal package, a resupply. So, it's things like that. But the trail has a way. I'm sure I've said it. And here I am showing you, because this is what I thought was beautiful, right? More destruction. I'm just going through more and more and more. This is the area. It's just sad. But Anyway, the trail has a way of reuniting people. You know, I've said it a million times. So anyway, okay, so when you get to town, what do? Certain things that are a must, right? And it's so funny. I was talking to Rebel J. I haven't taken a picture with her yet. She's right behind me, though, so I'm going to get one. Anyway, I was talking to her, and I said, you think you're going to get to town and have all this time to just relax and catch up, call a friend, and the domestic duties that we have to take care of while in town eat up all that relaxation time. I always think, I'm going to sit in a chair and enjoy this sunshine on the porch. And then somehow I don't do it. Maybe that I got to force that issue. But what do we do in town? All right, take a shower, number one. Laundry, number two. The charge devices, absolutely imperative. Back flush your water filter because you got to use fresh potable water. That's always easier when you've got a faucet to work with. Sometimes you're resupplying. Sometimes the hostels have a really good resupply selection and you don't have to travel to resupply. But sometimes they don't and you've got to get a shuttle, or they offer a shuttle. All hostels are different in what amenities they offer. But, so they might shuttle you to a grocery store. That takes time, right? And then uploading videos, as I've discovered, that's when I have to do it. So you guys can hear me rambling on and on and on. I, again, apologize for the late start. What's funny is I'm still thinking about how long it took me to get these videos rolling. And you guys will have been watching them and be like, what are you talking about? We've been watching them for weeks. In my world, I'm only like on day 4 or 5, whatever. So it's kind of funny. Ooh, look at this little bridge thing. Thank you, person, whoever put this here for me, so I wouldn't have to wade through the swamp water. And then if there's time, of course, answer some text messages, delete the 10,000 emails that are irrelevant to my life, but have accumulated in the past week, mostly spam. I did have to answer a couple work emails. People who didn't know I was gone. Took care of that. And then the most wonderful part of being in town, mostly it's because I have Wi-Fi when I'm in town, is I get to FaceTime my family. And I got to do that last night with my little Baba. Just turned 9-month-old, my little Raffaello. And I got to talk to my daughter. And then this morning, I got to talk with my little granddaughter, Naomi. And he doesn't talk yet, but man, he showed me his little cute face and his little cute crawling and all his cuteness. My little Xander Doodle, who is about 7 months, a little over. And then my daughter-in-law, my son. I got to talk with them. So that is the best part of being in town. I know there was a time when I said, no more than 7 days. You know what? Sometimes you just unexpectedly end up in town and it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to tell you is I think I just left what I have dubbed the Tough Mudder. I think I'm through it because it looks like the trail maintainers have been through here. And maybe those other blowdowns were, after the trail maintainers have been through here. Or maybe they thought it would just be fun to see us work our way through. And what would be really, look at, live and in person. Wilson, look what he's telling us. No kidding. I didn't have to stop, dig my phone out, take a picture. 400 miles. Woo! And look at the view. Okay, you need a better view than that. I think I'm coming on one. There it is. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, move on. Celebration, you get a little dance, and then you move on. Or you don't get to camp on time. I can only be like Smell the Roses for so long, okay? I'm not built that way. Okay, so completely forgot what I was saying. Maybe the trail maintainers thought it would be fun to watch us try and make our way through the last set of blowdowns. I am absolutely convinced right now, as I'm saying it, there must have been a hidden camera. I wish so bad someone had filmed me. It was absolutely hysterical. There were all these blowdowns, and I dubbed it. See, now this is what we call an easy blowdown. Do you see? There is ample space for me to maybe just duck slightly and keep walking. All right? That's great. The ones I passed that I dubbed the Tough Mudder section of the trail, not so easy. They were either way high, but no way to crawl under, or they were like, they had all these blowdowns. It was like several trees had blown down in the exact same spot. So all their branches were woven in, and literally, like, where are you going to put your foot? You know, if you need to get through this and over this wicked tall trunk with all these branches in the way, where am I going to put my foot firmly footed so I can swing my legs over? Oh my God, it was absolutely comical. And then there was this one, and then you see where the trail maintainers have done just this lovely job of, look at this. Look at that. How the heck? I mean, to cut and then move this thing. Oh, just amazing. You guys are amazing. But there was this one, and it was just too high, but you couldn't crawl under, blah, blah, blah. And so I swing my leg over. I got to swing the back leg over. I think I got it. And then out of nowhere, this green wire that I never saw grabs my ankle and pulls me all the way back. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I screamed, you know. I thought, in hindsight, hysterical, right? Right up my alley, my kind of fun, but just caught me way off guard because I didn't see it. So then I was trying to warn the people behind me, there's a green wire. You can't see it, but it's there. I don't think she saw it. I don't know how she escaped it. But anyway, if we see it on like Funniest Home Videos, we'll know there was a camera. Okay, so I think that's it. My goals for today. Oh, I left 3. Okay, so not the hostel. Those were bonus miles that don't count, right? They actually shuttled us back to the trailhead. Yesterday, I walked the 0.7 to the hostel. It was on this crazy major highway that I had no business being on. And the cars, like, they can't not see hikers all the time. And yet they were driving like so fast by me that I wobbled with their the gust of wind that trails behind them. Anyway, I was so relieved and thankful that the guy shuttled us back to the trailhead so we didn't have to walk that road again. Food was spectacular. I said that. I just want to make sure I drive that home because it's not something you usually expect just to get fed. But these people are going out of their way to make sure that it's a step above. So not the hostel, but the trailhead where we got off and started was 395.6. Mile 395.6, as you saw, we just hit 400. And my goal tonight is probably, I'm gonna shoot for 17 miles. I figure that'll take me to about 5 o'clock. The shelter there was destroyed in the hurricane. So of course they're saying, please don't go near it. But there was a handful of tent sites. And I think there's a few people all heading to tent there. And we're not supposed to have bad weather tonight. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Ciao for now. Bye. Shucks. I hit it a day late. It probably would have been perfect time for service too. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so look at this. I'm gonna zero in. See the detritus, all the junk that got caught up in the branches. So think about this. All right, look, this is how high the water had to have been for all this garbagey, material to get caught up in the branches. Like the water had to be that high. I don't know how to show you, but it's wicked high. Wow. And there's the river. So is that the river that overflowed that high? Insane. Wow. And there's Pony. Crossing one of the many bridges. But you can see there's typically a lot of water on the trail. Can, you know, stop and filter if you need to. I stopped back at a little nondescript trickle, but I needed it, so got the job done. All right, so at this moment, it is, let's see, 2:46. And I've said that I think I'm going to just start looking for 10 sites around between 5 and 5:30 and call it a night. So not sure where that puts me, but we'll soon find out. Okay, ta-ta. Here's my tent setup. This is the new tent I got after the Z-Pack pivot let me down. You can see inside here. Got, oops, sorry for the fingers. I got, well, that's my pillow, not inflated, but I got my, whatever you call this thing, mattress pad, my sleeping bag, my mouth guard, some socks, my headlamp, in case I have to get up in the middle of the night. And then I have my my backpack way back there. I tend to like my sneakers inside my tent. I don't know, they're kind of grody, but I don't like creepy crawlers going into them, so they probably will end up in the tent. But I wanted to show you the campsite. I'm probably not going to talk while I show it to you, and I can talk after and explain everything. There's my pole and my water. And all the different tents. There's some year sacks, but year sacks, they hang on the tree. Of course, I have mine is hanging from a branch off the tree. And then the different, so it's just such a little community. And look, it's just a huge meadow. I mean, we could have fit 100 tents if we needed to. And these fine gentlemen made a beautiful fire. Oh, such a perfect day. Perfect ending to a perfect day. Anyway, alrighty. Time to go into the tent. Hey there, so I gotta be quiet. It's past hiker midnight, which means it's past 8 o'clock, and everybody's already in their tents being quiet, so I can't exactly be screaming about my day. So I just thought I'd give you the update from my tent. Why not? Although there are 2 guys still sitting at the fire, but they are like making tea and stuff and talking. So as you know, I plan to hike until like, I don't know, what was it, like 5 or 5:30, I said, and then I was just going to find whatever site, right? It never quite goes that well. At 4:30, I saw a site that I thought was pretty good. I didn't check to see if there was a water source nearby, but it looked like a really nice site. But I said 4:30 is too soon. I said 5:30, so I kept going. Well, guess what? Trail took me high elevation. The higher I went, the more the blowdowns. That made me nervous. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the shelter. Now the shelter that was coming up hadn't, I guess the hurricane took the roof off it. So they were saying stay away from the shelter. But then I read comments that said they put a tarp over it and it's good to go and blah, 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 blah. So I thought, all right, how bad can it be? So I was kind of excited to just call it a night at the shelter. But when I got to the shelter itself looked fine. It had a tarp, the whole 9 yards. But there were a zillion blowdowns. Now, that's not a problem in itself. But what I'm concerned about, and the AMC actually said to watch out for, is trees with weakened and compromised root systems that could be poised to fall, just they haven't yet. And if we were up on top of the mountain, which that shelter was quite high, and a big gust of wind comes and some tree that felt like that was the moment it was going to fall on my tent or on the shelter. So I was like, yeah, I do not feel comfortable with this. It just looked like a danger zone to me. Like, that's where the hurricane came through strong, right? Ripped the roof off the shelter, tore down a bunch of trees. Now, trail maintainers and all those people did a phenomenal job of clearing it up. But you can see that that's where the storm blew through. And all these wicked tall trees, they're like 100 feet tall. Are they in the ground solid, or could they fall? Could they still fall? I don't know. All right, so what does that mean? I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I have to hike through the dark. I'm not stopping until I find a place that seems out of the wind, out of the prevailing winds, low enough on the mountain, has a water source, because I was 100% out of water by that point. And I, and just didn't look like it had a zillion blowdowns all around me. So that way I didn't feel like the storm came through and compromised the other trees, right? So that was my criteria. Well, I thought, well, why don't I just stop for water anyway? I look at my map. It says, 2 water sources. One is 1.5 miles behind you, and one is 2.5 miles in front of you. I'm like, are you kidding me? So that didn't go very well. I didn't plan that very well, and I need to pay more attention to that, especially if I don't have I'm going to this shelter, because shelters always have a water source, right? So I said, all right, well, at the very minimum, I'm going to the next water source. Well, I come around the corner for the water source, and I saw all those tents that I showed you in the video just a second ago. And then Portal was here. She was, and it looks like there is very little evidence of the hurricane here. It's all flat. I got this great grassy little site, as I showed you. It looked like a big meadow, right? We could have had 100 tents and had a party, but people, they were wicked nice when I arrived. They were all very welcoming and wicked nice. And so I did get here at 6:30, which made me a little nervous. I mean, that's my cutoff for comfortable arrival time. But I still had to rush a little because there was no shelter, which meant I was pitching a tent. I had to go get my water. I had to cook my dinner. I had to set up camp. I had to, all right, so the only thing I didn't really get to do was wash my face. I did get a wipe and really give it a good rub down, but I wished I could have washed it. But I just, I was like, I am exhausted. And other than that, everything came together pretty well, and I'm super comfortable in my tent right now and pretty stoked at the site, okay? When I read on the map, it said campsites for 2 tents. You saw? Like 1 million could come in here, so it's a great spot. I wish I could tell you what mile I'm at. It's like 216. I think it's up to 2. I am well past 2. 416. Let's put it this way. I left 395.6 and I hiked 21 miles. You do the math. I'm too tired. Okay, so yeah. So that was a good day, all right? And I'm thinking all right, so Damascus is 470. I'm guessing, what did I say? 216? Where's that coming from? I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. 416. So whatever that is, that's 54 or something. Anyway, it's very doable in the next few days. So I'm excited. And you know what I'm thinking about? Peanut butter ice cream. Now I want peanut butter ice cream. Ben & Jerry's peanut butter cup ice cream. Yep, I'm hoping there's some in Damascus. At least that's today. I still want more pizza. And I haven't had enough pancakes. All right, time for bed.